In 1400, the demand for gold brought thousands of newcomers from the savannah and Central Africa. Mali was the leading power in West Africa. New states emerged to take advantage of the opportunities by exporting gold, though none of them was more powerful than Mali. Religion permeated African life. Indigenous West African religions emphasized the importance of believers' continuous revelations as source of spiritual truth. But African religion differed from other traditions by emphasizing ancestor worship in which departed forebears were venerated as spiritual guardians. Europe was predominantly Christian in 1400. The Spanish reconquest completed the Roman Catholic Church's domination of Western and Central Europe. In 1517, German monk Martin Luther openly attacked the practice of Roman Catholicism. After Luther refused to recant, the Roman Catholic Church excommunicated him. Luther's revolt initiated what became known as the Protestant Reformation, which changed Christianity forever. Lutheranism became the state religion in the Scandinavian countries. The most notable other Protestant reformer that followed Luther in breaking Catholicism was John Calvin, who led the Calvinists. The Calvinists made significant inroads in France, Netherlands, England, and Scotland. England's Reformation was started by King Henry VIII. Henry asked the Pope to annul his marriage, but the Pope refused. Frustrated and determined, Henry persuaded Parliament to pass a series of acts dissolving his marriage and proclaiming him supreme head of the Church of England. These religious differences divided England for more than a century after Henry's break with Rome. The forces transforming Europe quickly reverberated beyond that continent. During the 15th and 16th centuries, monarchs and allied merchants organized imperial ventures to Africa, Asia, and the Americas. Besides seeking wealth and power, expanding Europeans proclaimed it their mission to introduce Christianity and civilization to the savages and pagans of alien lands. Two predominant outcomes of the new imperialism were a transatlantic slave trade and the colonization of the Americas. The multiple exchanges that resulted gave rise to a new Atlantic world. Slavery was well established in 15th century Africa. The idea of new slavery shipped nearly 12 million Africans to horrible conditions across the sea. They faced new extremes of dehumanization, and by 1450, Portuguese and Spanish created large slave labor plantations. By 1600, new slavery became a central, brutal component of the Atlantic world. In 1492, Christopher Columbus came to America for gold and God. His journey was for the economic development and bringing the Roman Catholic faith to the rest of the world, and he wanted to find a new route to Asia for trade. Animals and crops affected indigenous people. However, disease had the biggest impact on them because the Native Americans were out of contact with these diseases. Within months and even days, entire populations were wiped out. Trade coming from the Americas into Europe, Asia, Africa included items such as sweet potatoes, tobacco, pineapples, cocoa, and potatoes. Trade coming from Europe, Asia, Africa into America included items such as disease, bananas, grain, coffee beans, and livestock. Effects of the Columbian Exchange were forced migration, overseas empire, encomienda system, which was a slavery system of indigenous labor, the first permanent settlement in Jamestown, and tobacco farming introduced male indentured servants, but wasn't considered slavery.